hit. If I get a strike, you get to hit. You get to hit. Are you ready?
I don't want to hit. I don't want to. Gutter, please gutter. Please gutter.
Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Millennial Smark, and I'm bringing you the slop, the whole slop, and nothing but the slop. Just warning you guys, there's a reason why I'm making this video very early in the morning. Have to go to work later on tonight. I don't typically work Wednesday nights, but I was given the opportunity, was asked that I want to come in, get a couple of more hours in. I said to myself, watch Dynamite tonight, or prepare for the holidays by doing extra work at work. Easiest choice in my life, right? So I figure, let me give you guys a quick video early in the morning before I have to take a shower and get ready to head out, do some chores before going to work. And let's go over this video with Tony Khan and Ariel Helwani. Now, full disclosure, I thought it was a boring interview. I didn't think anything was really informative. I didn't really get a lot of takeaways from it. I mean, there's a few that I'm gonna sort of kind of touch on. At the very least, I thought they were interesting questions. So just like the last time when I was doing the whole little video commentary with Nixon Noel and Miranda Alizé, I'm gonna do the exact same thing for this and just pick three little topics, just three little things out of the entire interview that caught my attention. I highly recommend watching the actual source material, even though I don't much care for it. You should watch the source material first before watching the actual person who's reacting to the material. It's a good faith suggestion, okay? So without further ado, let me show you one of the first clips that I thought were interesting, if you will.
All this stuff, it's you live and breathe this. I do want to ask you about this. I had Matt and Jeff Hardy on in July, and I asked them, like, what do you make of this WWE TNA partnership? And Matt said to me, like, let's be honest, it's to hurt AEW. Do you view it that way as well? That's the way he put it.
I really like Matt and Jeff a lot. I like Matt and Jeff a lot, and I loved working with them when they were in AEW, and I still love Matt and Jeff very much. If they
and I don't think it was malicious.
I don't think at all. And
but do you think that that's the impetus?
I respect that opinion a lot. I think
you agree with it.
I think it's probably true. And
I guess it depends on how you frame it, right? Because it's like, on one hand, I don't see the direct correlation between the partnership with WWE and TNA being a direct attack at AEW. I'm not sure how that works out. Like, you know, the actual partnership at hand, right? But then obviously, you know, if you're saying that because NXT is going after AEW as far as, you know, that what would you say, that lapsed wrestling fan, if you will, outside of the mainstream audience, I guess you could say the more particular IWC fan base. I guess when looking at it from that perspective, you can say an extra pool of talent. But then at the same time, you can kind of look at AEW and you can say, I mean, isn't that technically what you're doing with New Japan Pro Wrestling, right? No? So it's like, not to mention, look, we talk about this all the time with NXT and AEW as far as them being competition. We make all kinds of jokes where both of their ratings and viewership numbers put together still doesn't equal WWE at their lowest point, you know what I mean, being right now. But like, I mean, are they even really going head to head, technically, considering NXT? I mean, never mind the whole broadcast cable argument, but like, NXT's on Tuesdays and Dynamite's on Wednesdays. That's not really what I would call head to head. So it's like, I can see Tony's point, but like, I more so disagree than I do agree. I can understand how he got to that point. I just disagree that WWE necessarily cares, more or less, as much as, like, you know, they just want access to talent just to bring up to the main roster. I mean, look at Joe Hendry for an example, right?
It's been this awesome year.
I'd be remiss if I don't ask you about the CM Punk story. Do you have any regrets about how that was all handled? Obviously, he came on the show, there was that big interview, and then you guys played that footage. Looking back, are you at peace with how it all played out, or do you wish things could have been done differently?
Well, there was so many things. So I,
Like playing the footage. Did you think that was the best move in response? Because it felt like that was in response to the interview. Unless I'm
to your interview.
That's what it felt like.
It's interesting because I do think that I didn't necessarily agree with the description of how it all happened.
So that was your way of showing like
no,
this is
not necessarily. And by the way, I really think you're a great interviewer, and I very much appreciate it because we've had a very very good interview, and I think I've been very good to answer all the questions
you have.
so far. And now you've got me where I'm enjoying talking to you so much. You've really got me hooked in. So I want to answer your questions, even the challenging ones. And I didn't necessarily agree with everything that was said in that interview about how things happened, but also it's a TV show, and it did a very strong number. And if you look, it was...
Are you talking about the video response from you guys?
Yes. Okay. So for many reasons, I think
that
it made sense, and it was a thing that was advertised, and it got a lot of attention that did a very strong number, and also it's in the eye of the beholder. Was
there anything he said that you want to now refute?
I think the tape spoke for itself, and I think that I didn't agree with how it happened, and obviously it was a major part of why things were no longer able to continue with us, even though I would have liked to have been able to. And it's clear that I wanted to reconcile and do those things. And
you wish that maybe like by him leaving and then showing up on WWE like 2 months later, that was a huge boost, right?
I think really for us, we've had a great run for 6 years. And if you look at the time before Phil came to AEW, we were having a great run, and we had some great times together. But we've been on a great run, and we're having this great year right now with this roster. And I think...
Yeah, let's just stop right there for a second. Like, this is probably like the only time I can actually say outright that Tony Khan... Because for the majority of this entire interview, I think this is easily the best interview Tony Khan has ever done, as far as not fumbling on his words, the PR. Like, dude was hella professional in this right here. And I gotta say, this is probably like the only time I've seen him actually stumble on his words a little tiny bit. You can tell that he really didn't want to answer this question, man. He was almost at the point that it almost came off like he was rambling a little tiny bit, right? But I can see his point. Again, this is what I mean when I say that his professionalism really shined through this. I can see his point, but then at the same time, it feels like he kind of redirected the question, right? He did that a lot throughout this entire interview. That's why it was kind of boring also. He kept rerouting without directly answering the point, right? So you see him sitting here and he's engaging with the question, but he's not directly answering his point. Like, is there any refutes that you have between CM Punk and Ariel Helwani during their discussion? And for you to just say that I disagree, I get why you're saying it. I understand why you're saying it, because obviously you just want this to die down, right? And I'm pretty sure he had to figure this was going to be one of the questions asked of him. But it's like, I feel like it's already out there. Punk already attacked you over it. You showed the footage as a retaliation. Just speak on it. Say it. What is Punk gonna do to you that he hasn't already done to you already, right? I mean, he's already somewhat embarrassed you in front of the, people of the IWC or whatever, just by the nature of him actually exclaiming his point and then getting you to show the footage and essentially pretty much validating this point, right? So I say just go out there and say what you really want to say. Like just do it. Bury the guy if you have to. I mean, what do you have to lose, right? But instead, he was diplomatic about it, and I can appreciate once again, I can appreciate the professionalism, but I think from like an entertainment standpoint, it's like, God damn, bro, like, yeah, okay, that was like the high point. Like, I thought we were gonna get something juicy, like some fireworks, and it was just more PR speak. So yeah, that was kind of boring. But I got one more clip.
My impression, I look at a lot of things, I listen to a lot of things. I feel like there's a lot of these like YouTube pundits, especially like the old timers, so to speak, and I hope they don't take offense to this, but the guys who have been there, done that, who feel like it seems to me like they have an axe to grind with you.
It's interesting because...
Why do you think this is?
I don't know. I think
you know what I'm talking about, right? Like,
sure, I do.
Cornets, the Bishops, like every single video, if you type in your name, it's never complimentary of AEW or yourself.
It clearly does engagement for them to talk about AEW, because you wouldn't spend such a large percentage of your real estate and you wouldn't devote such a large percentage of your content to talking about AEW unless it was engaging. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a
100%.
smart strategy.
Why do you think they do it so much?
Well, we're ongoing. We're putting on wrestling 52 weeks a year, and people want to talk about current events. And right now, AEW is a huge part of the wrestling landscape. We put great shows on. Tomorrow is a Wednesday night, and we're going to have a great Wednesday Night Dynamite tomorrow. And I think that any given week, you can count on there's going to be AEW putting on new content to talk about. And we're one of the major wrestling brands that people are going to want to discuss. And a big part of the wrestling landscape is AEW. So I think
100%.
people want to talk about the new wrestling, talk about the current wrestlers. And as I see all this stuff here, I want to try and get some AEW. I'm going to send you some AEW stuff.
I appreciate that.
And we'll put that. We'll hopefully make that part of the set because you're a big wrestling fan.
Yes,
you got
yes,
wrestlers
yes.
And great memorabilia. I might try to get a Jaguar even up here with the Buffalo Bills.
Let's not get crazy about that.
Now, obviously, I had to save that for last, right? He's talking about the community that critiques him, right? Now, to be fair, in particular, he was talking about Eric Bischoff and Jim Cornette. Some of the people who are already in the industry who, I don't want to say take offense, but I guess you could say take offense. In particular, definitely Eric Bischoff take offense to the fact that Tony Khan and the way that he runs professional wrestling, right? And I'm a part of that community. I'm not a part of Eric or Jim's community, but I'm a part of my own community, and I talk a lot of shit about Tony Khan, right? I don't really hide the ball on that. I don't think I necessarily talk shit about him. I mean, I make jokes here and there, but I more so focus on the actual content, and I do question the actual content based off of my experience growing up as a wrestling fan, right? And I don't see any problem with him clapping back at this. I've seen a lot of people who are actually upset about this, saying, oh, Jim Cornette's gonna rip him to shreds, Eric Bischoff's gonna give him the 1-2, buckle my shoe, the 3-4, shut the door. It's like, nah, he has the right to refute and, clap back at people, who talk shit about him. He has the right to clap back at his haters. You know what I mean? If he wants to call me a retard because I don't understand how he operates within the wrestling landscape, then he has the right to call me a retard because I call him a retard all the time. And I'm going to continue calling him a retard whenever a dumb decision gets made that I don't agree with. He has every right to do that. But of course I had to say that for last, right? But like I said, it wasn't really in it. Again, in my opinion, I don't think there was anything really necessarily interesting that came out of it. Props and credit where credit is due, just objectively, not looking at it from an entertainment scale, but just focusing on how he carried himself. You couldn't ask for a better Tony Khan interview, right? Dude carried himself like a real fucking professional. Absolutely smoked it. So good on him. I mean, not good content, but good on him nevertheless, though, right? So let's get some of the aftermath after this interview. I do recommend, again, if you do want to check out the actual interview, he does go into depth about other stuff if you're interested. I think he talked about Killer Cross. He talked about the picture with Jade and Ricky and Punk and Cody Rhodes. He talks about the analytics with the AEW Warner Brothers Discovery stuff that's going on with the max numbers and shit. Again, if you care about that kind of stuff, he does go more in depth into that. But again, I don't think he's really going to say anything that you aren't really, purview to or anything like that. So, or purview, whatever the word is. You already know what I'm trying to say. I'm fucking retarded right now. But here, let's check out some of the reactions afterwards. So this guy ended up saying, actually, let me tell you what Ariel Helwani said first. I thought that was actually somewhat interesting. And then I'll give you some of the reactions to what Ariel said. Ariel said, if you would have asked me in 2023, who's the one guest I'd never see in studio, it would probably have been Tony Khan. Massive respect for him for coming in, and even greater respect for how he handled today. Enjoyed the chat very much. Hope we can all be friends now, AEW fans. Obviously, this is stemming off of the 2022 incident where he had a horrible interview with Tony Khan, where Tony Khan pretty much just dismissed everything with, I can't talk about that, I can explain that, everything's great, great. They're great. Frosted crack. How more can get? Well, whatever. You already know what I'm trying to say. Trying to be funny. That was a failed joke. My point being is, though, that whole segment, that whole interview was fucking balls. It sucked ass. It was fucking terrible. And Ariel Helwani knew it was fucking terrible, so he went on a whole rant, called Tony Khan essentially a cokehead, snowman, all this other kind of shit. Tony Khan blasted back, and there was a huge fallout, right? They actually kicked off the entire interview, pretty much clearing the room and, you know, the elephants in the room as far as, you know, their past. So that was pretty cool. But some of the reactions were not very pleased with how Ariel Helwani went after this. Now, I will say the vast consensus out of all this, you go up and down, you're going to see a bunch of hate comments, but there are also a bunch of people who did appreciate the interview. And I think if you go on the YouTube comment section, there's more of a vast representation to people who actually did enjoy the interview. Again, not my cup of tea, but maybe those people aren't really aware of any of the stuff Tony was talking about, so they liked it, and I think they also were very happy to see how professional Tony Khan was. But for some of the hate comments, let's see if they had any validity towards them, right? So this guy said, when speaking underneath Ariel Helwani's making amends tweet, wait a see. I don't know what the hell he's trying to say. I guess he's trying to say, let's wait and see, because you are one of the ones that talk down on AEW, and I feel like a lot of y'all wrestling fan was all these wrestling companies to be just like WWE. Just look at TNA now, to much like WWE now. We love this guy's retarded. I don't know what he's trying to say. I'm just gonna maybe, I don't know, summarize what he's trying to say. I guess he's trying to say that, because, you know, Ariel did make a point like, hey, am I in good? Being fucking sarcastic, by the way, you goddamn troglodyte. And this guy responding to Ariel saying, hey, are we all good now? Saying, oh no, let's wait and see, okay? Because people who talk shit about WWE, they never give respect to AEW, and now look at TNA. Oh God. Here, let's see what this guy said. Maybe this one actually is, you know, coherent. Felt like you were walking on eggshells and was afraid to push Tony on anything for fear he'd leave. Complete lack of follow-up on certain things and claims he made that should have been questioned. Yeah, I agree, but at the same time, though, I mean, I don't know. I felt like Tony answered what he could answer, and then there are some things where it's like you just can't. I mean, he just can't legitimately talk about, right? Like, I can understand the premise as to how or why he didn't want to touch on Andrade, for an example. Like, that seems like a very, very, very sensitive topic. Although he did allude to the fact that he wasn't made aware that, you know, Andrade was in this situation, which is pretty obvious. I mean, the dude's not going to hire a guy who's under contract with WWE, right? But that's just one of the examples. I feel like this guy's being a little bit too harsh on Tony, and that's me saying that of all people, right? This comment says, I don't forgive grifting easily, Baldy. But if Tony Khan respects you, well, he's a bigger man than I am. Oh, man, bro. Goddamn, these people. Stop being weirdos. Tony Khan does not know you, little bro, and he does not own you or owe you anything, little bro. I mean, if you want to hate Tony or hate, what's Buddy's name again? Ariel Helwani. I mean, go for it. But the whole, like, if Tony Khan loves you, well, I guess he's a bigger man than me. It's like, no one cares. No one cares about how you feel about life, little bro. Get a razor. Do it quick. Get a razor and do it quick. This one comment says, inauthentic, media prepped, too polished. Sorry you tracked Ariel, but you also let him on your show to just do a 60-minute promo. Well, yeah, I guess that's pretty fair. Like I said, I didn't think it was a fun show at all. Like, I can't stress this enough. If you want to watch it, go for it, especially if you're not really, you know, in the know as far as most of these questions or most of these things that are occurring within the IWC. It might be informative to you, but for me, it is what it is, right? And one of the speculations that were going around in the IWC, apparently, so this Ibu guy, the guy that was starting the rumors about Britt Baker and his whole little Discord or whatever, he said, this may not have been the case before, but Tony sure makes it seem like he genuinely has no bad blood in his spirit towards departed names like CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, or Ricky Starks. This guy brings it up because that's who Tony was talking about for a good chunk of the interview, right? Or at least when posed the question. And then Sean Ross Sapp said, I've been repeatedly told that only one person has burnt a bridge with AEW, and was told it was someone most people wouldn't expect, which got everybody within the IWC up in the tizzy. Oh, who is he talking about? Who is he referring to? Who's this person that Tony Khan blacklisted from AEW? And you were hearing all kinds of names. You were hearing names like Jimmy Havoc. You were hearing names like, the main one I kept seeing was this lady named Shaza. Not to be confused with Shaza McKenzie, but another name, or another lady named Shaza, which apparently is a deep rabbit hole that probably warrants another video if I can actually, go down this lore and figure out what the hell happened with this girl. But apparently there's a name circulating right now that, apparently is completely blackballed from AEW. But that's the only takeaways that I can come away with the entire interview. Like I said, it could have been funner, could have been better, I guess. But I guess Tony wasn't really looking for, explosions or fireworks. I mean, I know when he initially came on the show, he was like, he wants to do something in order to get some, I don't want to say PR, but what's the word I'm looking for? I guess advertising. I guess something sparking to prepare for the Full Gear show this Saturday. So, I mean, I guess if that's what he wanted to do, mission failed, honestly, because again, little bro, even though people were praising you for your professionalism, there was a lot of people asking you in the chat also to please get this guy off the fucking show. So fail in that regard. Good if you were testing your media training because you passed with flying colors. Failed if you were trying to get people excited for Full Gear, because there were a lot of people asking you to get the fuck off the show in that chat. And there was one guy who was like, chalking up how many times you were saying, great, which was over 130 times, by the way. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below as to how you felt about Tony Khan. Did you feel he did a great job during this interview? Were there other questions you felt should have been asked, should have been poised? Do you feel like Ariel Helwani did not push back enough? Do you feel that Tony Khan was too PR trained throughout this entire thing in order to give you something of excitement throughout this entire interview? I don't really care, but I feel like YouTubers ask these kind of questions that are super reductive because they really don't give a shit. But I'm going to do it just to keep up tradition. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Don't forget, not reviewing AEW Dynamite, but I might be back tomorrow depending on how I feel. But I will be reviewing Full Gear. So I'll see you when I see you. A deuces and a peace. Unless something big happens throughout the day, then I might talk about that. But yeah, fuck you all. Peace.